What's up, gang? Two things first. Number one, if you're watching this video, you should have already built your vision and have your character dialed in at this point. Number two, I got the arm for my mic finally, but I still have this mic. So sorry about that. But back to my first point, if you've been following along with these videos, you should have your vision and goals clearly defined. They should be specific and you should feel really good about them. And then same thing with your character. You should have that defined, feel really good about it. You have a very clear image of who this person is, what they do, how they show up, etc. So now what? Well, step 3. Now, Walker, is this where Jeff Daddy Bezos is gonna overnight my higher self and all their accomplishments to my house between 2 and 6 p.m. tomorrow? No. Now is when the real work begins. Step 1 and step 2 were easy. They were warm-ups. Now is when the actual work begins. So we've got our vision, we've got our character which is capable of achieving this vision, and now step 3 is to create the path. But not the path to the vision, because guess what, you don't know the path to that vision. But guess who does? Your character. Your character is the person that can easily accomplish the vision. He already has all that shit. So that's where we need to go. The path that we need to create is the one that leads you straight to becoming the character that already has your vision. And then the goals and all the materialistic that you want will come as a byproduct of you being worthy. So how do we create the path to becoming the character that we need to become? The same way that we took the vision and created the character. We're going to take the character and create the path. But how? Well, remember the foundation that I told you about in my second video? I can link it in one of these corners, I think, if I can figure that out. And you can click there if you haven't seen it. We need to run this exact same exercise from the perspective of our character. So let me make this make more sense. Right now, you're here. This is current you. It represents your thoughts, your beliefs, your habits, your behaviors, everything. And now this is your character, who has a different composition of thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, and habits. So simply put, we want to become this version of ourselves. Because again, this version of ourselves is the one that can easily realize the vision, the one that already has all of the goals and has achieved everything that we want to achieve. And so in order to do this, two things need to happen. Number one, your current composition needs to evolve. So you can no longer continue to implement these same thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, and habits if you expect to upgrade yourself and become this new character, which has an entirely different set of habits, thoughts, beliefs, blah, blah, blah. We need to actually become this person. We need to think how they think. We need to believe what they believe. We need to act how they act. And we need to stay consistent with all of these things. And look, here's another secret of the universe. Evolving into this new being is one of the hardest things that you're going to do. It is downright painful. It is the hardest part of this entire thing. And this, quite literally, is why people don't realize their goals. It's why people set New Year's resolutions and then completely fall off. This concept that I'm about to explain right now. Your current self is going to cling to you as hard as it possibly can. Your current thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, and habits have endured such astounding levels of repetition that it has quite literally created neural pathways in your brain which have hardwired your brain into operating this way by default. This is also what is referred to as your comfort zone. You have exhibited your current behaviors and thoughts so much that they are now totally comfortable. It's your default way of operating. And anything outside of this realm, your brain literally views as a threat to your survival. Your brain doesn't want change. It doesn't want to grow. It doesn't want to evolve. It has been operating in this way and it knows it's safe. It's predictable. Everything outside of it could lead to your ego being destroyed. Now, I didn't make the rules. This is biology. This is just how we're hardwired. But obviously, it makes it super difficult to change. And by direct correlation, it's also difficult to get what you want, because oftentimes getting what you want requires jumping outside of your comfort zone and changing the way that you behave and think and just about everything. It can be torturous to endure this process because guess what? You are literally killing the version of your current self. Obviously, not physically, we're talking figuratively, metaphorically. So it's going to be extremely comfortable, but it has to be done. Now, before we go further on this, what is the alternative? Well, Don't walk the path. Decide not to do it. Accept the fact that you will not confront the challenges and the discomfort associated with becoming who you need to be, and let your dream die. Forget the goals. Forget the vision. Because this is the only way to get there, period. Now, personally, I say, f that alternative. I don't care how uncomfortable it is, because guess what? Not living up to your full potential and settling in life is also painful. Not living the life that you want to live is very painful, and it gets worse and worse as you continue to do nothing about it. I want you to take a second to imagine the pain and regret that millions of people experience when they reach their later years in life and they realize the challenges that were going to present themselves in becoming the person that they wanted to be all would have been worth it, because they would have avoided experiencing and sitting with the heavy pain of regret that they currently feel. And now it's too late. They don't have youth on their side. They don't have the energy to go and do it. And even if they did, they may not even be able to see the results of their labor because they're no longer with us. The reason I am making this video is because this realization hit me like a ton of bricks, which led to an entirely new paradigm of thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, and habits, which has allowed me to ascend to levels which my previous self would have never even thought was possible. And I am making this video solely, I don't get paid to do this. The sole reason why I am making this video is because I do not want you to be sitting on your deathbed looking back at all of the decisions that you wish you made, especially when I have this information, which I have proven to work in my own life. I feel it's my obligation to share it. And here's the really crazy thing. If you're still watching this at this point, that means that you probably are very clear on your vision. You probably are very clear on your goals, and you're clear, at least to a certain extent, on the type of person that you're going to need to become in order to reach it. And you're likely not in complete denial about the fact that it's going to take work, and it's going to take change, and it's going to take getting out of your comfort zone in order to become this new person. If that's you, congratulations. You now have a massive head start, because the message that I just relayed is going to shake so many people to their core, and it's going to affect their current self so much so that they're going to completely disregard everything that I'm saying, because just the thought of them having to change their current self is too painful. The reason that I know this is because that was me for years, until I had very significant perspective altering events literally shake me and wake me up and say, dude, this is how it actually works. You need to get moving now if you want to accomplish and actually obtain half of the shit that you say you do. Now, for those of you that are still watching, thank you for listening to me rant. I'll get back to the actual application of how you can do this. So there's two parts to it. The first part is going to be listing out the thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, and habits of your character. And this should actually be pretty easy if you've gone and done the work on building your character. It doesn't take a genius to come to the conclusion that, okay, if their character is very strong, very healthy, then the habits that they exhibit are most likely proper nutrition, maybe it's counting their macronutrients, going to the gym every single day, and avoiding junk and processed foods. So to recap on step one, it's taking this character that you have created and getting extremely clear on what the thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, and habits that you currently need to exhibit that beyond a reasonable doubt will move you towards becoming this character. The clearer your character is, the easier this is going to be. And now for the second step. And this is the pain. This is actually doing it. This is actually checking your thoughts, being mindful about what you're thinking, what you're telling yourself, what you're believing. And then furthermore, this is actually exhibiting the proper behavior and being consistent with it enough to the point where it becomes a habit and you start to hardwire new neural pathways in your brain, which is eventually over time going to make it easier and easier to exhibit those behaviors. There is no shortcut for this. You simply have to do it. And honestly, I can't tell you that it will personally be worth it for you, because I don't know what your vision is. I don't know who your character is. I can tell you that for me, it's totally worth it. It was totally worth all of the pain and suffering to become this version of my current self. And I'll tell you right now, it'll be totally worth it for me going through the current pain and the current suffering to become the next iteration, the next evolution of my higher self. And this game never ends. This is how you continue to just get better and better and reach higher and higher levels. This process right here. And the more that you do it, the easier it gets. So guys, that is all I've got for you in this video today. Your next steps should be pretty clear. You need to list out what the attributes of your character are. So the thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, and habits. And then from there, you need to execute them today. Peace.